Hey, YouTube explorers. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the profound wisdom of Jordan Peterson. In this gripping discussion on life, love, and truth, Peterson takes us on a journey through the crucible of radical embrace and the power it holds. Peterson was invited at Lex Fridman's podcast, and here are the takeaways. Jordan Peterson discusses the concept that beauty, as mentioned by Dostoevsky, may save the world, suggesting it's tied to the divine and points to fundamental axioms like truth, love, and justice. Beauty, as a balance between order and chaos, is explored through the symbolism of Moses and the burning bush, representing the transformation within structure. The discussion delves into the essence of beauty, using examples like music and the burning bush, emphasizing the role of transformation and balance. Beauty is described as daunting, and the act of exposing one's taste through art can be challenging, revealing one's preferences and evoking deep emotions. Examining the symbolism of cherubim with flaming swords in the context of Adam and Eve's expulsion, Peterson illustrates the deep layers of meaning within religious art. Peterson reflects on the impact of visiting cathedrals and museums, emphasizing how beauty challenges and rattles individuals, evoking a sense of awe. The concept of the divine is explored, defining it as a pattern or spirit that one admires and seeks to emulate, emphasizing admiration, hero worship, and imitation. The discussion shifts to the role of the transcendent in science, asserting that scientists must assume the existence of an ontological transcendent for meaningful progress. Peterson challenges a purely materialistic view, highlighting the necessity of humility and recognizing the limitations of human understanding, especially in science. The connection between the transcendent and humility in science is emphasized, suggesting that without humility, scientific endeavors risk ethical pitfalls. Building artificial intelligence requires an embedded ethic. Engineers must consider ethical implications seriously. The presence of off switches in technology and the concept of death bring clarity to life. Off switches are essential features. Optimal balance between growth and death in life. Embracing humility and allowing ideas to die can lead to a longer and more meaningful existence. Fame has the potential to trap individuals into their past selves. Peterson expresses concern about becoming an impersonator of himself. Increased influence comes with responsibility. Peterson emphasizes the importance of surrounding oneself with critics to avoid spiraling out of control. Anger can be a motivating force, but it needs to be balanced to avoid becoming overly harsh and judgmental. Constant awareness of death is essential. Peterson discusses the profound impact of facing mortality regularly. Peterson critiques environmentalists who advocate limits to growth, emphasizing the importance of technological innovation and human adaptability in addressing challenges. Peterson challenges economic models predicting future catastrophes, arguing against imposing limits to growth, as it could make people poorer and increase societal stress and inequality. Peterson relates the story of Cain and Abel as a metaphor for humanity, depicting the consequences of resentment and the eternal struggle. Lex introduces complexities in identifying Cain. Peterson questions the motivation behind Trudeau's decision to make the cabinet 50% women, suggesting it was a misguided move that reduced the talent pool. Peterson discusses the nuanced nature of love, emphasizing the importance of judgment and growth, and critiques Trudeau's expressions of compassion and admiration for the Chinese Communist Party. Jordan Peterson criticizes Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau, accusing him of harming the West and being an enemy of the oil and gas industry, especially with recent attacks on Canadian farmers. Peterson believes that if a person is not suited for a position of power, the power will corrupt them, leading to a devaluation of the job and potential negative consequences. Peterson expresses a willingness to talk to anyone and emphasizes the power of conversation, even with those he criticizes, like Trudeau, to understand and potentially correct misconceptions. Peterson discusses the fear-driven paralysis affecting some individuals in academic circles, hindering effective decision-making, and leading to corruption in positions of power. Peterson explores the challenge of determining trustworthiness in advice regarding complex issues, suggesting that trustworthy guides are those who are not terrified tyrants, avoiding the use of compulsion over goodwill. Peterson reflects on the Ukraine war, discussing reasons for the conflict, including mismanagement, reliance on Russia for energy, expansionist tendencies, and Putin's manipulation of Russian beliefs in response to Western wokeism. Peterson delves into the complexity of leaders' beliefs, suggesting that leaders, like Putin, may come to believe their propaganda over time, impacting their decisions and actions. Peterson emphasizes the human cost of war, highlighting the birth of hate on a large scale and the destruction of homes, love, and the potential for generational impacts. Peterson critiques the lack of face-to-face communication between the West and Putin before the Ukraine war, emphasizing the importance of human interaction and hospitality in understanding and preventing conflicts. Peterson and Lex Fridman discuss the healing power of conversation, highlighting the importance of leaders listening to constituents and engaging in social interactions to understand and address issues. Stand-up comedy is dialogical. It involves dynamic interaction with the audience, refining material through their reactions. A leader aggregates the misery and hopes of the crowd, giving it a voice and addressing it, reviving a sense of purpose. Jordan Peterson's day on a comedy tour involves early rising, writing on planes, unconventional eating habits, mainly steak and water, and private flights. Before a lecture, Peterson carefully thinks through a question, the structure, and potential narratives, aiming for a spontaneous and engaging delivery. The proper balance between structure and spontaneity in conversations, akin to play, leads to engaging and meaningful interactions. Sovereignty, even in chimpanzees, is better embodied by iterated reciprocity rather than sheer power, akin to the spirit of play in human interactions. Peterson describes the nervous anticipation before a lecture, emphasizing the importance of unified attention and a shared experience with the audience. Meeting fans after lectures is intense, resembling a wedding lineup, where brief interactions become profound, breaking the norm of shallow encounters. Jordan Peterson discusses the burden of receiving admiration and the responsibility to be deserving of it. Interactions in public, especially with young people, carry high stakes as a few words can profoundly impact their lives. Peterson reflects on the strange life where he's surrounded by admirers but feels a sense of loss with every goodbye. Peterson reflects on the challenges of controlling impulses, especially during the fatigue after public engagements, like succumbing to Twitter traps. Peterson discusses the importance of negotiating and finding ways to make the intense intellectual and social journey sustainable for himself and his wife. Peterson attributes improvements in his health to a radical diet, emphasizing the impact of nutrition on well-being. Lex Fridman and Peterson discuss the benefits of a meat-based diet, emphasizing mental focus and well-being. Peterson outlines his approach to thinking, starting with identifying what bothers him, seeking questions he genuinely wants answers to, and conscious intent in the thinking process. Jordan Peterson emphasizes the importance of carefully choosing words when speaking, viewing them as either stepping stones or foundation stones, ensuring solidity and foundation under each word. Jordan Peterson mentions that, before each word, he engages in a form of prayer by assessing the solidity of his expressions. When asking questions, Peterson expresses concern about his mind getting trapped, especially if he perceives instability in the words used, highlighting the importance of being carefree yet careful with language. Peterson discusses the neurological aspects of writing and talking, cautioning against trying to perfect every sentence in the first draft and emphasizing the need to orient oneself properly in conversation. Peterson suggests a meditative practice to decontaminate one's goals before engaging in conversation, emphasizing the importance of being in the right receptive position. Peterson highlights the need to understand one's motivations and goals, advising self-reflection to avoid contaminating the conversation with hidden agendas. Peterson emphasizes the significance of understanding the implicit structure of perception, making everything a game when perceived correctly. Peterson advises taking the preoccupation with suffering seriously, highlighting the transformative power of voluntarily facing the abyss and the importance of tolerating voluntary suffering. Peterson discusses depression, distinguishing between biochemical factors and life circumstances, and suggests therapeutic approaches based on individual situations. Peterson encourages small, manageable steps to address depression, such as starting with tasks like making the bed, emphasizing incremental progress. Peterson advises young people to take on responsibility, serve others, and find problems to solve, emphasizing the importance of striving for competence and discipline. Peterson suggests starting with small improvements in one's immediate environment, addressing what bothers you in your room to establish order and play the game of life effectively. Play is fragile, requiring order as a precondition for freedom. Putting things in order allows room for play and can combat depression. Relationship advice: instead of clashing with your partner, imagine and communicate the ideal way you'd like to come home. Find a union of ideals that enhances both of your lives. Building a successful relationship involves practice, allowing each other to learn and make mistakes. This approach applies to various aspects of life, including family and personal growth. Finding the love of your life is about becoming the best partner possible. Focus on self-improvement, offering qualities such as cleanliness, health, generosity, and honesty. Taking a risk and offering trust, even to those potentially dangerous, can evoke the best in them. A genuine hand of trust, even to someone with issues, can lead to positive outcomes. Reflecting on Solzhenitsyn's Gulag Archipelago, the line between good and evil runs through every human heart, and it's our responsibility to define that shift. Discussing Dostoevsky's Brothers Karamazov, it's considered a potential candidate for the greatest book ever written. The characters, like Ivan and Alyosha, embody internal struggles and transformations. Exploring the depth of literature, Dostoevsky's ability to capture the internal drama surpasses Nietzsche. Characters like Ivan represent rationalism, while Alyosha embodies the better man. Embracing an act of faith to declare the world is good, even when evidence is ambivalent. Acting out the proposition that the world is good contributes to its improvement. The adventure of life is found in faith, where faith is the belief that acting as if the world is good contributes to a meaningful and fulfilling life. Embrace the radical commitment of love as the highest ideal, akin to a marriage where binding yourself leads to understanding. The crucifix symbol represents a radical embrace of unjust, torturous, innocent death, betrayal, tyranny, and hell, an intense acceptance of life. Love is the highest ideal, and truth is its handmaiden. While truth can break the shackles of naivety, love is a more profound and positive force to strive for. Cynicism, born from bitter truths, is a moral improvement over blind naivety. The journey involves going deep into oneself to confront even darker aspects, asking, "How cynical are you?" We all harbor within us the potential for the roles played in mass atrocities, such as the prisoner, interrogator, Judas, or Pontius Pilate. Self-reflection is essential to confront these aspects and find love within. For the full podcast, check out the link in the description.